Before I get into this video, I just want to say no hate to any of the content creators that are in this video. Everything, all of the ratings are literally just the things I've observed because I was curious and I decided to find all of them and make a tier list out of it. It's no hate to any of them. Most of these content creators are actually way better than I thought they were going to be, like above average good players. So before I get into the video, no hate to them, and don't give me hate if I give your favorite content creator a bad rating. Alright guys, let's get to the video. The first person I'm going to be rating is Ogamatsu with an A tier. And a lot of people may think that that's wrong, but I'm going to explain to you exactly why I put him at A tier right now. The reason I put Ogamatsu at A tier is because he's extremely good at playing at high ping. Like, he knows what to abuse, how to use it. Like, he abuses his hitboxes on his mage build, like, flawlessly. And the lowest I could get him, I think I'm a pretty good player. The lowest I could get him was like a bar or 5% pretty consistently. But then again, he does heal a lot and all that. I mean, it could have gone both ways, but I do think that he was one of the harder people to fight out of everybody on this tier list, so I'm going to have to give him an A tier. The next person I'm going to be rating is Valakis. He's a very nice guy, but I saw in our matches that he only really did well in one of our fights, and the rest of the fights were just sort of clears. Like, he was pressuring me really hard in the first fight, and then after that, he really didn't do all that good. It was like 3 fights, and I won all 3 of them, but the first one was a lot better than the other 2. I'm going to have to give him a B. I was going to give him a really high C, but I said I'm just going to give him a really low B. I'll explain why I gave him the B right now. For Valakis, he's really good at being weird with the Gale Hero Blade crit, but he doesn't use Gale Dash or a lot of things that Gale offers. He really just like parries, uses the crit, roll cancels occasionally. Like, his playstyle was very like simple. I mean, I've seen him play different things way better than he's played the Gale Hero Blade, but with the Gale Hero Blade, he played pretty simple and just tried to get his crit off as soon as he could. And he did do some pretty nice uppercut combos. But other than that, it was really just a basic fight. I didn't see anything that really caught my eye. He did catch up pretty well. The only things he really couldn't parry were like whenever I was abusing the hitbox of my spear or whenever I was using my crit. Everything else he kind of did well against. I mean, and he fell for the slide and strung left a lot. That's just it though. The next person I'm going to be rating is Nerf. I've known this guy for like 9 months, and in our fights we fought 6 times and I won 5 out of 6. So sadly, he's going to have to be the face of C tier. Very sad cat. I'll explain why I give him C tier right now. The reason I gave Nerf C tier is because in all of our fights, the one time he got me low, it was like, I think it was half a bar. It was like our first fight. But the whole time, everybody in the call and himself were accusing me of macroing the whole time. It was really interesting, as well as the fact he kept on falling for really obvious things and saying it was because of my swing speed. No hate to Nerf, I love that guy, but he did have trouble fighting the Kirsklave, which is a pretty slow weapon, and I had to prove that I wasn't macroing by opening my mouse software, which was definitely an interesting thing. But overall, he really just didn't perform as well as I thought he was going to do, so he's going to have to be the face of C-Rank, sadly. The next person up on this list is my boy Punchy. He won 1 out of the 3 matches we did, and he did actually pretty good. I'm going to explain why he gets B tier right now. The reason Punchy got B tier is because we were both pretty laggy. I think I was freezing a decent amount too. I don't know about him. He looked like he was keeping up. He might have been lagging too, but he just kept on letting me hit M1s on my build, and my build is like extremely M1 based. Like, all my damage comes from my M1s, and he was parrying all my mantras but none of my M1s at all. And whenever he did get combos in, they did insane damage, because then again, he is Flame Fist, so Emperor Flame, like, all the explosion combos he did were insane. He did this thing where he flung me with Ash Slam and then hit me with the Dawn Walker Radiant Kick. That was cold. He did it like 4 times. It would come out of nowhere. That was actually pretty impressive. That's why he gets above Valakis. And it's also why he gets B tier. So the next person we'll be rating is the Clickbait King, Supa himself. And I've seen a lot of people say this guy is bad. In fact, before I even had fought him before, I've seen so many people call him horrid, all this shit, but he's actually pretty good. I'll explain why he got A tier. With Supa, he was interesting. He was like really good at parrying and other stuff, but his build was really brain dead. I'm pretty sure if he didn't have that build, he'd be like a high B. He'd still be above most people on the list so far, but with the build and his already pretty good skill, it was an insane combo. He did beat my ass. The lowest I got him was like, there was blood on his shirt and his head was bobbing. That was the lowest I got him out of 3 fights, and he actually was pretty good at using his stuff. Like how Ogamatsu does it, he abused the hitbox of his Flame Assault and other stuff like that. He just looks like he really knows how to use his kit, which is pretty interesting. Even though the build is brain dead, I don't think everybody will be able to play a build like that. The next person on the list is my boy Nogo 22, and we're gonna put Nogo at a I think I'm gonna put him at the top of B tier. And that may shock some people, but I'll explain when he's at the top of B tier right now. Nogo being in B tier and not A tier or S tier probably surprises a lot of people. If you're watching this video, probably surprises a lot of people because he's usually known as a very good player, and he is a good player, but on the build that I fought him on, it was really brain dead, and when I was fighting him, people around me were saying that he had like a bug, something to do with his stats. I don't know what that is, so I'm not getting from 100%, but people were saying that he had a bug to do with his stats and there was multiple bugs on his build, which is, it's whatever, but the guy would do almost anything to win, which is, I mean, like, whatever, like, he wants to win, he takes the game serious. That's not an insult. I'm just saying, like, he takes the game competitively more than other YouTubers, which is why he has a high and not low rating. Basically, just anytime I'd actually get close to him without him abusing like gaze and his gun range, he got like pretty low, like a bar and a half. But if he uses his build when you fall for it, it's perfect. Like, he's always gonna be 4 or 5 bars if you don't get up close to him, which is it's pretty interesting. But that's the reason he has such a low rank. The next person up on the list is my boy Asifa, bro. He did pretty good against me, but he's gonna go right in front of Valakis, and I'll explain why he has this ranking right now. Me and Asifa fought 6 times. I won 3, well actually I won 4 and he won 2. So it was a pretty interesting fight, but he just, I don't know, man. It was like the other people who were using Gale did just a little bit better than him with Gale, and he would use the Astral Wind. Like, Astral Wind would be the only thing he could hit. I mean, the guy's pretty good still, but he could only really hit Astral Wind or his Curve Blade crit, and he was pretty good at mixing up still, but just, it was above average Gale and nothing that really stuck out to me. The next person I'm going to be rating has to be Sheep in Sheepskin, and he's going to get the back of A tier. And I'll explain this rating right now. Y'all are like, Sheep in Sheepskin lower than Supa and Ogamatsu? What? What? This makes no sense. Hear me out. When I fought Supa and Ogamatsu, they had a distinct thing that made them hard to fight, and they had extremely overpowered builds. When it comes to Sheep, he was fighting me on pretty much just a basic attunementless build. And he kind of spammed uppercut, and if he didn't land uppercuts, then it was pretty easy to keep up with him, but he did escape combos very well, and he would stop himself from getting in combos whatsoever. But I did a lot of damage to him, and then he would just get out of it. But I said it's one thing, if he landed an uppercut on you, it's reps. That's like 2 bars of your HP instantly. Like, the reason he's lower than Supa and Ogamatsu is because he didn't have a brain dead build, and he just didn't, I don't think he was used to the build he was playing on, because unlike Supa and Ogamatsu, he didn't abuse his build. Like, he didn't get fully used to it. He didn't use anything that was specifically for the build. So that's why he has such a low rating compared to what everybody assumed that he'd be. The next person is the Day 1 Faneri, bro, and I'm gonna have to give him the only person that's above Ogamatsu. And I'll explain exactly why he's above Ogamatsu right now. I did fight him in California, but nevertheless, he was insanely good at parrying. Like, he legitimately no-hit me. I've only beaten him in Cali like 4 times, and I fought this guy so much. Like, me and this guy used to spar in California constantly so I could learn how to fight on high ping. And I've literally only beaten him in Cali about 4 times. The dude is crazy. If he's on good ping, he's unstoppable. I would say this guy's definitely the best California player. Like, the best California player. Just literally the best California player. Like, not only this guy's extremely nice, bro, but he's insane with Gale. He does not do any of the crazy Gale dash stuff, but his consistency with an attunement that's so hated by most people, he plays it insane. Like, all of his combos are insane. You watch his videos, you think he only lands those on bad people, doesn't he? And then you fight him and you're like, Jesus, he's landing the combo on me. He's landing the combo on me. His PvP is insane. His movement is insane. Everything is insane. That's why he's going to be the #1 right now. Just because I don't think there's anybody that can, like, maybe on good ping, Ogamatsu would be the same as him. Maybe if Ogamatsu's on 50 ping, he's getting close to be Faneri, but Faneri is nuts. Truthfully nuts. I sound like I'm deriding him. Just fight the guy, bro. Just fight him. The last person is DanVR. He is much better at fighting players than he is at fighting Kyr's guards. So he's going to be right above Punchy right here. Right above Punchy. I'm also going to move Faneri up to S tier. I think the only person that I fought that's a little bit better than Faneri is Fallen, so he's just going to stay up at S tier. The reason DanVR is at B tier, I'll explain that right now. DanVR is one of those people that whenever you go to fight him, you think he's going to be so much worse than he actually is. No offense to him, but when I fought him, he really surprised me. The only things that he really struggles with was the range of my mantras and just the overall range. Like, he tried to S-hold with curved, or just abuse his range with curved, and I was abusing my range with spear, so it was like we were both M1ing at nothing. But obviously my spear goes further, so I usually would get free M1s or criticals on him. As well as, like, I'm weird whenever I use my flourish. I dash and flourish, like, after or something like that. I roll cancel. But all I know is it messed with him pretty bad, and he would almost always get hit by S-holding M1s. But once I did something, unlike the rest of people on the list, once I did something, this guy would internalize it and just fix it. Like, over all of our fights, from first to third, he got much better at fighting me. Like, he would stop falling for certain stuff. At our third fight, I was half a bar, but I still won. Like, it was insane. Well, that was the third out of 6. We fought 6 times. I won 5, he won once. But I literally would try to go hit the same thing on him, and I wouldn't have to do it twice. He just learned. I don't know what he did. Like, I don't think he even noticed that he did it. But he would just stop me from doing certain things, and it irritated me, but it was really interesting to fight him. These are the final ratings for the content creators who participated. Thank you so much to everybody who helped me with this video, especially these content creators listed right here. It means a lot, especially people who really helped me a lot with this. By the way, all of these ratings and scores are my own opinion that I had fighting them. I'm a different place, like I play different than other people. Comment down below who y'all think should be lower or higher. I would really love to see some outside opinions on this. It's just like, this rating is based off of my opinion alone fighting them and nothing else. And I just equated an overall score based that. Anyways guys, like and subscribe. Let me know if y'all want to see a remade video of this with other content creators, maybe way more content creators. Just comment down below. Alright guys, like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.